Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another Sport Bike Haven production. It's your boy Jordan, once again out on the INMOTION V11Y. Heading over to Stomping Grounds to grab some coffee and just riding around. I really can't say enough about how much fun this thing is. You know, it's super cool to just get out, go for a little ride. You know, the battery, even on a cold day, will last me, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe, depending on how I ride. So it's super awesome. You know, I get a lot of that same kind of feeling as the motorcycle, you know, just you in the machine, you know, wind in your face, and it's just such a beautiful day that, you know, I can't not want to make the most of it. But yeah, I'm riding into downtown Gresham right now. Pretty good out here. There's a lot of bike lanes and stuff, so it's pretty easy to cruise through. I don't know how well you can see the jacket, but the jacket that I have is kind of one of those you know, social media, what do you call it, viral products or whatever. You know, it's just a very reflective jacket. Maybe a little bit harder to see in the day, but definitely at night this thing lights up like a lantern when the lights hit it. So I pretty much have always been wearing it, you know, just give myself that little bit of extra visibility, and it seems to be working out so far, you know. Guess I could just continue straight here, but I kind of want to just roll through the side streets a little bit, see what's up. My girlfriend went to the bank first, so she's dealing with some bank stuff, and she's driving, and I decided to ride because I just absolutely love getting out on this thing. It's so much fun. Definitely can't wait to bust out the H2 again sometime in the sooner than later future. You know, that thing's a blast, but it is pretty cool with this thing. You know, I can just take it out and you get a lot of that, you know, feeling, you know, that just like going for a ride feeling. You just get a lot of that with this thing, and it's awesome because I can head out, go cruise around town for a couple hours, you know, get tired, chill out, you know, and that's a good ride for the day. It's fun. And basically it costs quite a bit less to operate than the H2. Probably, you know, a full charge on the battery is a couple bucks, not even, probably like $1.50, I don't know. My mom's husband was showing me on his, he has like an app for his electric car, and it tells you how much it costs to fill up the car battery and stuff, and he was doing like, you know, 40 miles or so, and it was like $1. So you know, that's 40 something miles in a car. So for me on this thing, you know, if I do 40 miles, it's a lot smaller of battery to go that distance because, you know, it's a smaller electric motor, less wattage, not voltage or whatever, and, you know, it doesn't have to push around all that weight, so much cheaper. So I can imagine that I can spend all day on this thing, and it's probably less than $1. Which is awesome, you know. H2 is like 20 miles a gallon, 25 maybe, depending on how I ride, and gas is like $4 to $5 a gallon, you know, probably like closer to $5 for the premium. So, you know, still out here having a whole bunch of fun on this thing, and it's nice and cheap to enjoy. I was kind of surprised about just how expensive tires are. I think A tire for this thing is like $160 something plus another like $35 for an inner tube. So I'm looking at basically like $200 for a tire change on this thing. But you know, I should be able to get at least 1,000 miles out of this tire. We're probably coming up on about 300 miles right now, so should have plenty of life left in this thing. But yeah, nice tight little turn here. Ooh. I'm just kind of cruising around because Stomping Grounds, I already passed it over there. And yeah, I don't think my lady is there yet, so I'm just cruising around. You know, avoid some of these cars. But yeah, I think I was talking a little bit about battery tech in my last video, and I wanted to attempt to word that better. So, you know, like the holy grail of electric batteries would be something along the lines of higher energy density, lower weight, right? Extremely fast charging and discharging, you know, so they could power large electric motors and all sorts of electric motors, and doesn't degrade, because that is the big problem with lithium ion. You know, you have a battery, and you know, a couple years later, after so many discharge cycles, the battery starts to corrode, and then it becomes less efficient. And yeah, but it's great for, you know, it is pretty good for right now, you know, good enough to do the stuff. You know, I don't know if you know, the world is hiding some kind of secret battery tech from people, you know, to keep them locked in at that, you know, 200 to 300 mile range, you know, because I don't know, you know, I'm sure there's plenty of reasons that people could think of for why, you know, some you know, governing power would try to do that to people, you know, just keep them kind of locked in, not going far, you know, less freedom and all that stuff. But not really getting into that too much. I have no idea, but you know, it would be super cool if battery technology would improve by a substantial amount. I mean, we'll take anything, right? You know, a 10% gain on you know, energy density with a 10% reduction in weight and 10% longer life, you know, as far as like discharge cycles go, would be awesome. But you know, I'd love to see like a 2 or a 5x on that, you know, where, you know, the same size battery that I have in this thing would weigh, you know, 70%, maybe go like, you know, at least twice as far. That would be super cool. You know, having a 150 mile range instead of a 70 mile range would be super awesome. Longer lifespan for the battery would be super cool. So would love that, but not expecting it anytime soon. Oh shit, there's all sorts of stop signs here. I was about to, yeah. Anyway, so that's what's up. I think I'm gonna end this video here. You know, just kind of rambling on. I just want to keep making some sweet videos for the social media. But yeah, you know, if you found this entertaining or interesting, go ahead, drop a like. You know, if you want to add to the conversation, tell me what you think about, you know, battery tech, or, you know, how much fun that you have on electric unicycles. Leave a comment for me. And Once again, the best way to support the channel is to subscribe. Catch you in the next one. Peace.